Hello everyone, it is August 10th, 2013, a very nice Saturday evening outside. It's been a while since I've done a video showing some of my vintage finds from estate sales and garage sales and so on and so forth, so I thought it would be a perfect opportunity to show off some of those things before the pile gets too big of items that you guys have not seen yet. So this is my library slash vintage electronics showroom here, and there's going to be a future video about this one of these days. Here's a real Apple II. We're not going to talk about that today. We're just going to talk about some of these vintage finds that you will find down here. I guess we'll start with the little Zenith portable black and white TV right there. That is a 1976 Zenith bicentennial edition portable black and white TV. As you notice on the side, it has the Declaration of Independence. And it is an AC and DC set, and it can run off a battery. There was an optional battery that would plug into the bottom of the TV that you could get for it. Now this one I don't have the power cord, so I haven't tested it out yet, and it came to me courtesy of a coworker who found it at a garage sale, I believe, for free. Down we go. That is a Coronado AM radio. It's not that special. I think it has a Wells Gardner chassis maybe, although I'm not 100% sure. I haven't opened it up yet. It does work, but it has low audio output, so I think it probably needs some new tubes. Anyway, the reason I picked that up was because when I was a kid I had one of these radios identical to this that I purchased at an antique store, and of course tore it apart, and it was long gone. So when I saw this one I had to have it again because it reminded me, it's exactly like the one I had when I was a kid to play around with. So that was, I think, $8 or something like that. Now below that is a Marantz PM730 stereo amplifier, and this was given to me by a friend of mine who is into high-end stereo gear, and it doesn't work. I've not tried it out or anything yet, so I don't remember exactly what the deal is with it, but I think with a little bit of repair it'll probably work fine. It's a good example of the 1980s Marantz equipment, so that's kind of cool. Very 1980s on the front there. Below that is a Sansui AU101 stereo amplifier, and I got that from the same person. So thank you, John, for those items. That Sansui amplifier is kind of a lower end Sansui, so it's not super fancy. It just has like a microphone input, phono input, aux input, and a tape monitor. So it's kind of basic, bare bones, but I guess it works pretty good. I haven't really tested it out yet, but kind of anxious to do so. And as we move along, here you see a Kirby Dual Sanitronic 80. Let me move some things out of the way so we can get a better look at it. As you can see, it needs to be polished up. It's kind of in rough shape right now. It's got the original sticker on the belt lifter there, which is pretty cool. I bought that at the Goodwill store for I think $10 maybe. It's a pretty complete vacuum. I think the Dual Sanitronic 80 is from 1967, somewhere in there. And it does work. It just needs a new belt. The belt is dry rotted, so I'll get a new belt for it and polish it all up, and that'll be a pretty cool vacuum to add to my Kirby collection. As we move on, that's a bread basket. Nothing real special about that. I just found it at an estate sale for a couple of bucks, so I'll throw that in the kitchen and we'll have a nice little bread basket. Next is a recipe box with all of these recipe cards for drinks. So there's all kinds of drink recipes in here, and this is from the 1970s. This is kind of interesting. But like each one of these cards, well, I'll just pick something interesting here. Whatever. Okay. A vodka drink. So here's a Black Russian, the recipe for a Black Russian, and then on the back of the card it gives you information about the food that was also pictured in the picture that they would have paired with whatever drink recipe is on the card. So there's all kinds of stuff: wine, vodka, bar basics, specialty drinks, whiskeys, rum, you name it. So that's pretty cool. I think I paid a couple dollars for that at an estate sale. Oops, and it's all over the place. Anyway, we'll set that aside and look at what else we have here. I picked this up at a garage sale. Nothing special about that. It's just a laptop bag that is from an IBM ThinkPad, which I am kind of a big fan of ThinkPads, so I picked that up for $1. Alright. Here's something really cool that you don't see. Well, it's a joystick, of course. And they're, what do you think? You just think it's just a run-of-the-mill joystick. Well, it's a Mac joystick, for a vintage Mac, not anything new. But one would think that this is an ADB connector, because most Macintosh compatible joysticks used ADB, so they would plug into the keyboard or mouse port. But this is serial. So I don't know that I'd ever seen a serial joystick before, so that's very cool. It's a MacFly professional game stick. So I think that was $2. Alright, we'll move on here. This is an autographed picture of the Presleys from Branson. I got for $1. It's pretty cool. I don't know how many of you have been down to Branson, Missouri, but the Presleys is a group that is recommended that you go see because they're pretty cool. Alright. The next is like just a drink dispenser for a refrigerator. And I thought that went along with this thing that's right here, which I'll talk about in a minute, but I guess it doesn't. So I got a really cool drink dispenser to put in the refrigerator, I guess. Alright. Here we have the Hollywood Squares TV game. And there's a picture of Peter Marshall right there. And somewhere, oh yeah, 1974, copyright 1974 by Ideal. So that's pretty cool. And I don't know how many of you out there are fans of Hollywood Squares, but I was, and I always liked the original version. You can see it on reruns on Game Show Network. But anyway, and I haven't looked to see if all the pieces are there, but they certainly look to be all there. So that was pretty interesting. I think that was a couple dollars. I think it was maybe $4 at an estate sale today. All right, now the interesting thing here. This is a Joe the Barman. Now, some of you are really into vintage appliances. Well, and you can see I paid $7.50 for it. Well, a Joe the Barman is actually made by Sunbeam, and it's pretty interesting. It says he'll crush ice, drinks, relish trays, seafood cocktails, gelatins, arrangements. He'll crush ice, mix drinks, and even mix food. So if you want to read that, well, it's not focusing very well, but I suppose you could pause the video if you want to read that. But anyway, it's basically got an ice crusher here where you take the ice cubes and you stick them in this little chute, and then they get crushed and then put into the container, and that also is like a blender. It has a blender at the bottom of it. So it's a pretty cool little appliance for your bar area or whatever. It's Joe the Barman. So that was pretty sweet. All right, and lastly is a 1970s era electric fondue pot, and it's all complete here. It's from Oster, is the company. So, but it's all there and it's in good shape. I don't know that it had been used very much. So it's got the, the heating. Oh, gosh, my video is going all over the place. The heating pad, and the pot, and the lid, and all of the skewers down here that go with it. So that'll be cool. I did not have a fondue pot, so now I do. I think it was $3 maybe at an estate sale. So anyway, I guess that kind of wraps up this video. The fondue pot, the dual Sanatronic 80, the picture, the stereo amplifiers, the radio, the TV, Joe the Barman, the joystick, laptop bag, the really cool drink recipe box, the bread box, and Hollywood Squares. Alright, well, that wraps everything up. I hope you enjoyed this video, and get out there and find some good stuff at the estate sales and garage sales and wherever else you can find it.